Hello and welcome to John S.'s Sports Channel. And this is a running update, and I've not done one for a couple of weeks. And the reason, well, I missed the last one, and the reason is it's been quite a horrible weather, really. And I thought, I don't want to start getting a cold. When you get old, you get cold, and you start getting colds and flu. And it's literally 2 full weeks training before we go into the race. So I really didn't want to do it. So I've been holding back on some of the training and sort of like just selecting when in the day I do it. And one or two of them got shifted round and moved round, and I wanted to do this when everything starts to sort of settle down again. And I've been doing lots of lives with my other 2 channels, so unfortunately it got waylaid. Now today, today's Sunday. Usually my recovery days are Saturday, Sunday. Now I got to Friday and I was supposed to do a tempo run for 30 minutes with a warm up and a cool down alongside, and I was still supposed to be doing a couple of other lives, and I've got all the a lot of editing to do and videos to do. So I decided not to, because I looked outside and I've got loads and loads of editing to do. I'll get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work, so it's going to be difficult, and it is raining, and I decided to move it to Sunday. Now the first thing is, if you're going to move it, I would always say not to move it for raining, because like you've got to be able to run it in all weathers. Okay, when you get older you do have to think about this. So I did it because I didn't want to get ill 2 weeks before the race, and colds and flu tend to linger around quite a bit, and I didn't want to detrain by getting ill, so I moved it away. Now the problem with that is that I was moving a high intensity. I can still feel the thigh really hurting now. I moved a really high intensity run, a tempo run, to Sunday. So I basically had 2 days rest after what was a 50-minute easy run. So there was a lot of recovery after a run that really didn't need a lot of recovery. So a little bit of a waste, really. I think if you're going to do a long recovery, make sure that you've got, and that's what, make sure you've got a good hard run in front of it, and that you're resting from something, and your muscles have something to recover against. Because what's happened is I pushed it to Sunday, and we've had a nice long rest, and you should really always make sure you come out of a 2-day rest. If your plan does give you a 2-day recovery session, then you want to come out of it and do a nice slow easy run, and that's what it would have done. Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday is always an easy run. So good on Garmin, it gives you it in a correct manner. Now I set off literally about an hour ago, and I think it's going to get dark in 2 hours, so I can do a quick run. It's not a bad weather. It's I'll put the thick clothes on because it's still cold. And I managed, I think, about just under half a mile, and I just felt the thigh just twinge, and I thought, no, I'm not going to go anywhere, am I? And I was doing about 9.5 minute miles. I think I was doing roughly in the middle of an easy run pace, and I thought, oh, this is not going to be good, is it? So I did a little bit of walking, try and shake it off, a little bit of stationary stretches. Now, I don't usually do stationary stretches, but I wanted to concentrate on just the thighs and the calves and try and get the legs sort of loosened up a little bit. And I realised when I took the first two strides of a light jog back to come back to the house, there was no way on earth I was going to be doing anything more than a light walk. So now the thigh's gone. I keep wanting to call it a calf. The thigh's gone. That's what happens when you get old. The thigh's starting to hurt a little bit now. So unfortunately, I have got a thigh injury. I'm going to be doing lots of massaging and trying to get this to be a little bit more fixable. I'll be taking my protein to, if it is an injury that needs protein to fix, then we'll make sure it's got protein there to lay down the basics of fixing the injury. And we'll hopefully see exactly how long this takes, because I have had similar in the past where it's just been 24 hours and I've been off again and not felt anything. But it's very close to the race, 2 weeks. We'd already seen. Now, this was the other thing I wanted to say, and we'll leave that aside now. The training has been really good on several fronts. So the training actually got me to reduce the amount of high intensity runs. It's added another easy run. So when was it? It used to be Monday, Thursday, no, Wednesday was a big run. It used to be Monday and Thursday for easy runs. It's now Monday, Tuesday and Thursday. This week just gone, and that's interesting, because then the next week is 2 weeks before, and that one's nice and easy. And I know where it does on the last week. The week after, it gives you a nice easy run with a couple of really light jogs, and makes you not get injured, which is a bit of a bugger, isn't it? So we're sort of struggling a little bit. I don't want to be. I need to try and get this recovered, and I don't want to start antagonizing it at this point. It goes back, I suppose, to can you run with an injury, and this actually is a good point to make, because you can run with injury. Of course, I could run with injury. I could go out there now and run. Actually, I couldn't, because it won't let me. I can't even try to jog. It just goes bang. No, you're not doing that. So, but had it been a little bit less of a painful thigh, I would have probably been able to run. Yeah, I would have hurt it even more, and I would have got to the position I am now even quicker. But I think what I've learned from this is that it's very good. It tries to reduce the risk of injury very, very easily by reducing everything. I don't know where this pain came from, because I didn't feel anything until I did that first 100 yards, and I thought, oh, there's a bit of a tweak in that thigh. That's not good. I'll try and do a light jog down to the bottom of the hill and see what happens, and we'll stop if it hurts. And I got to the bottom and it hurt, and I stopped. It's as soon as it hurts, you have to stop. But the point I was making in that video was one of, if I could have ran, if I could have not done the tempo run, Yeah, so it was supposed to be doing a tempo run. If I could have done if I could have slowed down and done sort of 10 and a half minute mile, really, really slow jog, and I could just about feel that there's something wrong, but it's not hurting, and it's just grumbling away in the background. Then I'm not hurting it more. I'm not straining it any more than I really want to, and yeah, I could have run, but unfortunately, the most I could do was a nice walk. I suppose in the case of what I've got here, walking uphill I could walk uphill nice and fast. So that in my terms would be my answer to, can you train while with an injury? Yeah, I could have trained. I could have carried on walking up. I could have carried on walking nice and fast. It wasn't overstraining the injury. It wasn't causing any extra damage, because if it was, I would have been feeling it, and I would have been thinking, no, that wasn't good. So yeah, still goes to show that you can train with an injury, but when it gets to a point like this where you get to a point and you think, this isn't actually helping very much, so a fast walk wouldn't have helped me at this stage. It's not a zone 2 heart rate work is not going to really give me any super benefits for 2 weeks time. So it didn't make any sense to carry on. But if it had made sense, and zone 2 walking would have, a bit of a fast walk would have given me zone 2, yeah, probably low end, but yeah. Would it have helped? Well, it would have had it been earlier on in the year, and I've got months or weeks, so several weeks to go to the race. Then yeah, it would have helped give me some nice zone 2 volume in there. To the body's used to actually constantly moving. Unfortunately, too close to the race, and I have to stop completely and try and make sure this is absolutely fixed. So I can see why 3 or 4 people put a dislike on it. It's not as clear though, is it? It's not as I think when people put dislikes on videos, quite often it's like, they just jump to a conclusion, and quite often it's wrong. With this one, it's everyone can. They might get injured, but you can still train, and it's just down to you to decide whether you're making it any worse. And as soon as you think you're making it any worse, the body will tell you, because it'll tell you need to think this properly, because I'm going to give you a sharp sting. It hurts, and you don't do it. So it is easy enough to know you're making it worse. Absolutely. Because you know that it's more than uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is just your body's way of saying, be careful. We're not doing anything wrong at the minute, but the bits that are damaged are moving, and they don't really want to be moving at the minute. So yeah, you can, and there are benefits, and I said it in the video what the benefits were, and the benefits are very minimal. I think one of the things I didn't say actually, the benefits of doing something like that, training while you're injured, is lessened when you get closer to the race, because if you're well away from it, then fine, you can extend that getting better period from 2 weeks to 4 weeks, and you're brilliant, But now, if I was to get an injury that was going to definitely take me 2 weeks to get over, I've got 2 weeks to the race. I'm going to have to take 2 weeks. I'm not going to carry on running and a light jog and suddenly make that 2 weeks 4 weeks, because the race is in 2 weeks. So it doesn't make sense. So yeah, it is something I didn't say, and that's that if you do your running and you're getting later and later on in your training, closer to the race, that thought of can I run injured is the benefits are drastically reduced towards the end. Absolutely drastically reduced, and you have to think about that. Absolutely. What else have I gained from this week? I've gained an ability to be able to set off at a certain pace and not use the music on the phone to be able to keep up at a certain at the race pace in particular, because we've had 2 race pace trainings this week, and it helps because that means that in these training that we've been complaining about before, where we do so many stints of short period at race pace or short period at tempoed pace, where the watch averages things out a little bit too much, and all of a sudden you go from being you're too slow, and all of a sudden you think, okay, oh no, it's usually you're too fast, and then all of a sudden you slow down and it doesn't move, and also whack straight onto you're too fast, you're too slow. So it goes one end to the other, and by the time you've got it in the middle, that bit of the run's disappeared. So the Garmin sort of got me into, or the training in Garmin has managed to get me very nicely into this ability to think about the speed you're doing. Let's give you a little bit more distance. Let's make those little bits longer. And as they've got longer, for instance, the race pace, I did an hour's worth of race pace running this week, and I got about 85% accuracy. So I did really, really well. I'm really proud. But I'm not just proud of the fact that I got 80-odd%. I'm proud that I didn't look at the watch. And I did have music, but I wasn't using the music for timing, because I selected it to just give me random songs. I was actually doing it purely on knowing the beat of my feet. And thinking, okay, I'm basically going 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and I'm thinking, that's about 8 minutes. Yeah, that's about 8 minutes. That's just over 8 minutes. That's about right. And I started to be able to do sort of 7 minutes 20, which is my tempo pace, in my head without actually having to look at the watch. So it helps, and it's the training that's got me there. It's the training that's managed to get me into this thought that I can actually run, and I can actually try and get that pace without actually looking at the watch. And it's strange, isn't it? Because the Garmin training is trying to make you not use the watch. Effectively, yeah, because the watch, and I'm sure they know this, the watch's averaging thing just doesn't quite fit in. And right back in the first update that I did, or second update, I remember saying that it's incredible. They've changed a couple of things. The Garmin training doesn't. It gives you 20 seconds, and it used to give you how accurate you were in it, and they don't do that anymore. Simply because it can't be assessed properly, because Garmin's watch averages times out, and people have been complaining. So they don't give you how accurate you are on these little 20-second stints, 12 times with a break in the middle. So it has benefits using the actual Garmin training alongside the watch, because they're assuming you're using the Garmin watch with all of its good points and its bad points, like the long averaging out of the pace that it has, and they're changing the plan and the exercises and how they give you the data afterwards, so that you can actually get the best out of. I don't like it like that. Get the best out of the training. So I like it for that. and it's almost refreshingly honest. They're basically saying, look, you can't run looking at your watch, and realistically, and this came out in one of the other running channels, that all of the professionals and even the semi-professional, I call them professionals. They're not the high-end amateurs, aren't they? But yeah, go on. We'll call them high-end. All the high-end amateurs and all the ones just below that, they don't look at the watch. In fact, I think they only use watches just to see what their heart rate was and see how even their pace was, and where on the course did they have an issue with their speed. And during running, they never look at their watch. So it is a good point to make that Garmin gives you the ability during the race to have a quick look at your watch and, oh God, I'm doing, what am I doing at the minute? 71 beats per minute. So, and you can change whatever you're doing to make it right. So I'm a little bit high, I need to relax a little bit, so I'll go and relax, and bring it down to about 58, 59. And that's what it's for, at the end of the day, we tend to overuse it, and you overuse the watch. It's very handy to use it, don't get me wrong, and if you're a beginner, just don't fall into that mistake of constantly looking at your watch every 10 seconds. You'll see all the people who've been running a pretty long time, certainly years. They'll pass you, and you'll see them a mile ahead, and they'll probably never look at the watch. Or if they do, they look at it once just to see either what time it is, or just to check that they think they're on target. Am I? Yeah. Okay. Carry on. So don't fall into it, because it's not something that the watch is really capable of giving you. And certainly for the Garmin side of things, I would say it's not a hugely impressive part that's not one of the things I find impressive about Garmin. I do complain a lot about it, but it just means that it's pushing us into doing what we should be doing anyway, which is running and running at our best, and just enjoying it. Or if we're in a race or we're trying to get to a specific race pace, it's trying to get you to know that pace without looking at your watch, so that you can just use it as a monitor, as a guide, as a push to collect data and things like that. And I think that's what it's done. And I think I'm actually enjoying this training. And I could probably rab it on for ages, but I'm not going to. We have enjoyed it. We've done. I did. I'll end with this goal pace race pace goal pace run, isn't it? They call it. At first, I could probably do a goal pace run for probably about 20-25 minutes, and I wouldn't be far off for the rest of it. I probably could do about 25, 30. I could probably go into about 40 minutes if I was really, really wanting to, and be quite close to it, but not too close to it. So I think the race pace is about 8 minutes. So I would probably be about 8:15. 8:20 I think it is, and I could probably get that for about 40 minutes, and I managed it for nearly an hour, about an hour, on this week. And the week before, the training before, which was about 4 days before that, the end of last week, was it was for 50 minutes, 55 minutes. So it's starting to sort of just lengthen nicely. And I actually put on that, how did you feel? And I put really, really good. I could speak pretty much full sentences with a bit of a gap at the end to have a breather. So not a 1 or 2. I think I gave it a 3. I'm thinking, I could have done this for a lot longer. I was just following the training plan and the training timing. So it's actually doing really well. And you think, well, if I could do it for an hour, can I do it for the full hour and 45, and finish it somewhere near time? Within probably a couple of minutes late, but not too many. I reckon I'd be about 2 or 3 minutes late. So it is actually working quite well this time. It didn't work as well last time, and I think it was partially because of I was complaining about the same things last year, and I can't do these 20 second stints of 7 minutes per mile, and what about these 20-second stints at 5 minutes 15? I can't do this because you can't get 20 seconds on the watch and get the pace right. And I think I worried too much about the fact that you couldn't do the things properly, and it did detract from the effort that you were giving. And if you don't give full effort, then you don't get full benefit back. And I think that's one of the things that I learned from it. If you don't get it right, don't worry about it. Don't overthink things. And I think that's where I did wrong last time. I thought, but the watch isn't helping me. The training's telling me, well, do it, try it. Just don't look at the watch. Have a go. If you get poor results, don't bugger it. It doesn't matter. Now they've took the results off, so you can't worry about it, which is great. But try not to worry about the results and the data you get back out of the longer runs, which is still there, because it's important, I think, to make sure when you're running, just make sure you enjoy it, and if enjoying it means don't look at the data and don't look at the results. Don't look at the data. I still think you should look at the results. I still think you need to look at that. Just if you're really worried about taking them too seriously, perhaps take a day or two off looking at them. I did that this week. I thought, I'm not sure I did very well there, because I didn't feel on top of the world. Perhaps I'll just, because it was poor weather last week, I'm trying to fit it in between the rainstorms, and I'll leave this one, and because I don't want to start worrying this close to the race that I didn't get that, and why didn't I get that pace at that part of the course, and why didn't I, So sometimes look at it, sometimes don't. Anyway, it's one update more. There's only going to be one update more. That's the last thing. There's one update more. I'm going to do this I'm going to do the update on Friday night, mainly because I've got a lot of lives to do on Saturday. Otherwise, I would be doing it on Saturday. I'll be doing my training on Friday. If it gives me one, I don't think it does, and we shall, as long as I'm not injured, and we shall lay out our plans for the final week before our race. And that will be very important. If you do, and I know people replay this, if you get this far, next week's is really important. We're going to cover things like when and how much carbs I'm going to be loading. So carb loading will be in it. Easing down the training will be in it. It's a very important one next week, so please do watch. Do like and subscribe. I do like doing them, even if we do. I mean, I've only got a couple of people viewing it so far, so I don't mind. But all of you, if you've enjoyed it, even if you haven't enjoyed it, give me a like and subscribe. Why not? Don't click the bell. Anyway, thanks a lot, and thanks for replaying it, and good luck, guys, in your training. And I'll see you for the very important last one next Friday.